Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is in the southeastern Ebonyi state on a two-day official visit. Top of the president's agenda is the inauguration of the ultra-modern King David University of Medical Sciences, the newly constructed presidential lounge in Abakaliki, and some other projects. Arise correspondent Ebonyi has been observing the inauguration and now reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari has visited the southeastern state of Ebonyi more than any other state in the region. Some say he is attracted to the landmark projects being executed by Governor David Umahi. This time, the Nigerian leader is in the state to commission what the governor says are life-transforming projects. They include the King David University of Medical Sciences and the King David University Twin Flyover. Others are the Margaret Umahi International Market, the International Market Ring Road, the International Market Twin Flyover, and the Uburu Mpu Dualized Road. The Nigerian leader will also commission the Muhammadu Buhari four-way lights tunnel, the state shopping mall, the new government house, the new governor's office, and the new state executive council chambers.
Structure under administration of His Excellency Engineer David Umahi.
The tight security in Abakaliki, the Ebonyi state capital, has not prevented these super excited residents from expressing themselves. The president's visit is not devoid of the agitation for the zoning of the 2023 presidency to the southeast. While many here believe these will calm frayed nerves in the region, some stakeholders say this visit is an opportunity to present before the president issues affecting the development of the region.
It's going to be an opportunity for Southeasterners to present their case once more to Mr. President. And Mr. President will listen to the demands of the Southeasterners. It goes beyond the action for the presidential position to other needs of the Southeast. So it's going to be a forum for that discussion to take place. And we are happy that he's here. We are seeing him live, and we'll have a good engagement today that will mean well for the development of Southeast. Other problems of Southeast will be presented to him. So a forum like this is for such to take place.
The projects and the efforts of the governor speaks for him. In a normal situation, in a system where things are based on merit, I think they should ask him to come and replicate what he has done at the state level, at the national level. And there is no doubt that this could be done, because what development you have seen within Abakaliki is just a far cry of what has taken place in virtually all the local governments in this state.
The agitation for Igbo to produce president of Nigeria goes beyond this visit. But the visit is significant because it shows that he will personally not be averse to an Igbo president of Nigeria. That one he has demonstrated in many ways. He's not against the idea. But rather than pour cold water on it, it will fire up the agitation, knowing that the president is not against it. So the effort to achieve it will intensify.
The president will conclude his visit to Ebonyi State with a closed-door meeting with Southeast leaders in the state capital, Abakaliki. It's believed unfolding events in the coming days and weeks will show how far-reaching this closed-door meeting has been in actualizing the hopes and aspirations of the people of the Southeast. Abel Ejikeme, Arise News.
Meanwhile, Governor David Umahi says there's no president like Muhammadu Buhari, describing the Nigerian leader as a man with a general's hat. Interim President Muhammadu Buhari at a state banquet in his honor in Ebonyi State, heaped praise on Governor Umahi, describing him as one who is changing the narrative of the state and meeting aspirations of the country's founding fathers.
I have noted the significant projects executed by Your Excellency in the last 7 years. You have done your people proud. I am pleased by the economic development records of the state under your administration. The wonderful network of roads, critical infrastructure, and investment opportunities that have created in the state. I have noted the progress in the Economic Performance Index of the state, particularly the Budget Office rating and the SFTAS commendable records about your budgeting principles. I commend the state for emerging as the second overall best in fiscal performance in Nigeria and for scoring high in fiscal discipline, transparency, and accountability in the use of public resources. It shows you have zero tolerance for corruption and waste of public funds. I have decided to accept the offer of your government to take over the University of Medical Sciences.
Let me, Your Excellency, underscore the fact that there is no president like you. You're a man, honestly, with a generous heart. How could I have, as president, given an opposition governor 78 billion refund for a project he didn't do at an election year? No any other president has this kind of heart. You're a good man, sir, and we deeply appreciate you. People used to say, because you love me so much, that you have secretly given me money. I said, Mr. President is not a partial president. The money has given to me, has given to every other state. And I want to commend our governors. We appreciate you deeply. And every governor of, especially our APC, have honestly done very, very well.
All right, joining us now on the show to discuss his presidential ambition and his projects in Ebonyi State is Governor Gov Umahi. Welcome to the show, Governor Gov Umahi, and congratulations on many of the projects. Dr. Abati?
Well, Governor Umahi, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the morning show. Yes, let me join Rufai Hosseini in congratulating you on this visit of the president to your state. Well, we're told that the president is commissioning 16 projects. If you could just take us through those 16 projects and then steps that you took to make sure that the threat by unknown gunmen, IPOB, through Emma Powerful, said, you know, IPOB was not behind the threat, that nobody should come out to receive the president, but that it was unknown gunmen. What steps did you take to make sure that you know, you are able to see through this two-day working visit? The first, the projects.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abati, and good morning to the rest of the team, and good morning to Nigerians. First, let me thank you for this opportunity. The 16 projects we started with King David Medical University. And the aim of that project is to cut down on medical tourism. And the equipment we showcase is what you can find anywhere in the world. And I think we have sufficiently shown that. And Mr. President is very impressed. We commissioned the university block, the medical university block, commissioned the cancer center, which is, you know, the contribution of Mr. President, the cancer center. He commissioned the teaching hospital yesterday too. So then he commissioned the university flyover. He also commissioned the 12-kilometer concrete dualized road leading to the university. Then to the airport, the president inspected the runway and then concrete runway, the first of its kind in the whole of Nigeria. And then he commissioned the Buhari presidential lounge of the airport. And he also commissioned the 8-kilometer dualized concrete road leading to the airport coated with asphalt. Then in Abakaliki proper, he commissioned the reconstructed Margaret Umahi International Market. He commissioned the flyover leading to the market. He commissioned the ring road of the market. Then Government House proper, he commissioned the Buhari Presidential Lounge, a brand new one. The Aisha Mohammed First Lady Office, the Akano Ibiam Governor's Lodge. And then today he will be commissioning the the ESCO chamber, a world-class ESCO chamber, taken after the United Nations Conference Center. There are other projects slated that will not be commissioned today, like the governor's office, which is called the Ebonyi House. What did I do that IPOB, didn't issue threat? I don't know what I did other than that I prayed, and IPOB must know through their lawyer that I've been on their case. In as much as I do not agree with them, I do not agree with their operation, I do not agree with their existence, I do not agree with their threats, but I believe that this is a problem of Southeast, and as the chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, where there is a problem, you have to think about how to solve it. And that's why I have been talking with their lawyer, and through that discussion, I also have been to Mr. President to kindly request him to allow for political solution, which Mr. President says, yes, let the lawyer initiate that. So Mr. President is not averse to political solution, and I want to thank him immensely for this. He's really a father, and he's a man that listens. He's a man with a very good heart.
Wow. Mr. Governor, your projects look extremely impressive. This is a huge feat for you. I'm particularly interested in the hospital, which does look world-class. But can you tell us what you mean when you say you want to hand it over to the federal government? And my second question for you, obviously you recall that President Buhari was initially scheduled to visit Ebonyi State at the end of last year, but you postponed that visit because you wanted Southeast stakeholders to meet with Mr. President and talk about peace in the Southeast region of Nigeria, which is imperative at this point. Is that meeting still going to hold with Southeast leaders on the issue of peace, the all-important issue?
Thank you very much. What I mean by handing over the university, it looks we lost you again. Okay. What I mean by handing over that university to the federal government is because the size and the nature and the equipment, that are in that university are beyond what any state government can run. In as much as we're able to conceive it, and God has helped us to put it in place. But the running is a different ballgame altogether. So we want the federal government, who has a larger capacity, to take it over to run. And if they take it over to run, it becomes a point of reference, and it becomes a point that anybody can point to and say, look, why are you going outside for medical checkup? Everything we want on our health is already there. And again, I told Mr. President that the state will also be committed. We like to have like 10 expatriates, medical personnel, which the state can be paying for the next 5 years. The essence of it is that they will be able to inculcate, their professionalism and experience, and then a lot of our people will also take bearing from that. I didn't do or say so to underscore that we don't have qualified people, but it will add to our professionals capacities in that direction. And today we are not just talking about peace in the Southeast stakeholders meeting with the president. We're also talking about the zone. We're talking about stability of the nation. We're talking about peace in the zone. We're talking about security in the zone and the nation. So that meeting is going to hold from 9 o'clock.
Right. Once again, Governor Umahi, congratulations on all of these projects. I mean, the hospital, like Tunda said, it's a sight to behold, and other projects you have done. But let me go straight to your presidential ambition. You've got the president's ears for 2 days, which is a place many other aspirants want to be now. I'm sure they're probably looking at you enviously that you've got the president's ear for 2 days. What are you discussing about your presidential ambition? That's one. Number two, I think it was about last year, you suspended some journalists from the State House. And journalist unions kicked against that. and now you're running for president. A lot of people are saying that if you emerge, are you going to be a president that suspends journalists because you don't agree with them?
The issue of suspension of journalists, I don't understand what you mean by suspending journalists. But that matter has been resolved amicably, and I don't feel that it should be brought back. The NUJ in the state and at the national level, they are one family with me. And so there's no altercation, and so there's no need to go back to that matter. What I'm telling the president is it will be taking advantage of the kindness and good heart of Mr. President to talk about my presidential ambition in my state. And so I'm not telling him anything about that. But I'm telling Nigerians, generally that it depends on what they're looking for. The presidential race is becoming very uninteresting because I think that if people want to vie for an office, Nigerians are tired of promises. If they're looking for, somebody to fix the infrastructure, which is the basis of every other thing, if the infrastructure is fixed, there will be work available for our youth. And so that will reduce insecurity, and that will reduce, a lot of, unemployment. So if they're looking for someone to do that, they shouldn't look far. They should look towards Ebonyi State. And this is a fact. So if a lot of people are jumping into this presidential race, and they cannot dig back into their past and say, this is what I've done, and so this is my starting point. So it's becoming very, very uninteresting. So I will be asking Nigerians, what do you want at this, point in time? What is it that are we looking for? And that's why I say it's becoming very uninteresting. Nigerians are very tired of promises. They want to see the past position you occupy or the present one. What have you done with it? And so if they are looking for capacity, it's not something that should be negotiated. And let me make it very, very clear. If the basis of insisting that, presidency should return to South is on the basis of fairness, equity, and justice, and, our brothers and sisters from the North are willing to do that, and then we come to South and we start to struggle about it, and we throw away that fairness, equity, and justice. And so what is the basis of, there's no moral justification by asking the North not to contest. If it comes to the South and we are not, using the same yardstick of fairness, equity, and justice to say, look, Southeast, you've not gone, this is your turn, then I would strongly support that the South should not have moral justification to be shouting presidency to the South on the basis of equity and justice. Because what is good for North and South should be good for the entire South.
Okay, Governor, I just need a clarification. When you were responding to the question about the 16 projects that the president was supposed to commission, and he has commissioned some of them, including flyovers and some others, you mentioned 2 projects named after Umahi. I thought I had something like that. And then another project named after President Buhari. And then there's also the King David University of Medical Sciences. Who is the King David here being referred to with regard to the University of Medical Sciences? If you could just clarify that, because you could be accused of naming projects after the Umahi family, the president, and yourself. So, and the most conspicuous is the King David University of Medical Sciences. I just need to know, to have some clarification as to regard to this naming system in Ebonyi State under your watch.
I think the problem of our country is not the problem of naming projects. If we can honestly, have Nigerians to build as many projects as they can and name it after themselves, that's not what, the country is averse to. The country wants infrastructure. They want good governance. But let me clarify that King David is King David. Anybody that answers King David, my name is not King David. So anybody that answers King David shares from that, name. Just like, John Kennedy International Airport, anybody that answers John Kennedy, like the former, Christian Pilgrim Board, John Kennedy. So you cannot, entitle. But let me even give you a shocking news that when that name was sent to our House of Assembly, They refused it, and they, totally said, look, this name should be called David Umahi, Medical University. That's the House of Assembly, and that is their power. So I had to send it back to them and to say, look, I just simply want a more beautiful name and straightforward name, and that should be King David Medical University. And when he got to NUC said, no, that name, that university should be called David Umahi Medical University. So what is the blame here? Even if it's named after me, the important thing is that that project is there. The name does not matter. And then the international market is, the making of the House of Assembly. They did that to immortalize my mother. And they will not say that my mother has not contributed to nation building. She was a near saint, and that was the ingenuity of the House of Assembly. It has no import of my own making. And you can't blame me for naming a project after a man who has a good heart, who has, helped all the states. And so I have no regret, and I will not repent, naming the airport and the light honor after the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari. And I'm not the first to do it, to doing that, and I will want to do more before I leave office. Name it after him, because he's a good man.
Right. Well, you're a governor, and you declared back in January your aspiration, your presidential aspiration. What do you make of the sudden plethora of declarations by people who are perhaps lacking in any kind of public administrative experience, any kind of gravitas necessarily? Do you feel that, the waters are being muddied here? Because according to the general public, all the new politicians seem to be taking us, the electorate, for a ride. What is going on here? Are these genuine aspirations, even by people that perhaps may not have that much of a shot? Or is this some kind of Machiavellian plot afoot going on here, or just individual selfishness hoping to be settled when they're asked to step down? What is your take on this crowded field of which you are a part?
Thank you. I heard you. That's why I said, the process is becoming very, very uninteresting, and it's very, very unfortunate. And if the platform for, declaring is based on past performance or is based on what you have done now, definitely I shouldn't be there. Some of us should not be there with some of us. And so I feel very, very disappointed that people are prompted. And so when people come and make promises, it irritates me so much. I want you to base what you are going to do on your past. Let us see what you have done. Let us see your heart for the nation. Let us see your heart for the people. And not to come and say, I will do this, I will do this. And you have been there, what and what have you done? So it's honestly very uninteresting. And I think this thing is too peculiar with the people of the South. When the national chairmanship was contested, I think there were about just 5 people to the north. And it was only, ceded to the north. Nobody from South contested under APC. And then now it is said to be the turn of the South. And you see everybody jumping into the ring. For me, it's not a do or die affair. If there is a body language or there is this thing to say, look, this is what we are going to do, it is very important. But let me also emphasize, in as much as I believe strongly that if justice, equity, and fairness will not also go through the entire 3 regions of the South, then there is no basis to be singing that. But let me emphasize that if at this time, anybody is saying that zoning is jettisoned, we are not being fair to this country, because we have to be very honest, to ourselves. There has never been any time from 1999 that zoning was not, talked about, and there have been a kind of give and take, in our process for the stability and peace of the nation. There was a time the entire North, lined up behind the women, but because of June 12th and so on and so forth, it was, given to Obasanjo to pacify the West. And Dr. Bonneon also had the ticket of APP, and then, for that same reason, it was given to Falaye. So it was made sure that the entire Southwest were the people contesting. And so I believe strongly that it should be the turn of the Southeast. And the nation Nigeria, cannot say that there are no capable hands in Southeast, to do this job. And going forward, we must be extremely very careful, because a chain is as strong as the weakest link. We must think about the future of the country. We must think about the stability. And like late father, Suleiman says, look, justice, equity is what can build a nation. That's what can build a nation. So I strongly believe that all the sentiments should put away. If you want to put somebody who will, do this or that for you, it's only when you have a nation before you can do that. So we should think deeply and think about our nation. And I continue to say the problem of our nation are we, the elites, because there's little patriotism, coming from us. It's all about self and self and self. Let's think about a nation first. Let's think about the future of our children. If we continue like this, I'm sure one day our children will rise up and chase everybody away. So that's my take.
Okay. Governor Umahi, you've said a lot. You're running for president. You've got aspirations. The primaries are coming in. I'll ask you two questions. Number one, how's your delegate push going? How are you pushing to get delegates? Now, number one. But number two, between the year 2015 to 2019, it was said that you had no permanent secretaries. Why is that? Why did you run a state without permanent secretaries? Because the Constitution in Section 208 talks about, the powers of the governor, the power vested in the hands of the governor to appoint permanent secretaries. So the Constitution recognized a role for permanent secretaries in the state. But you didn't run the state with permanent secretaries from 2015 to 2019. That's what some of your critics say. You can answer now, Mr. Governor.
Well, it wasn't so. I think I didn't have permanent secretaries for about 2 years. I was taking my time to evaluate the quality of the people we have in the system to make them permanent secretaries. And I made 26 permanent secretaries, as against 13. And so I have good intention. But for me, I think my critics have nothing against me, because these are funny questions. They should ask me questions based on, performance. They should question, our programs. They should question how did I come first in the whole federation in terms of transparency, in terms of, fiscal sustainability, in terms of, budgeting, in terms of, corruption-free administration, and so on and so forth. So we should go on tangibles and not intangibles. Because who are these permanent secretaries? When they were not there, who were the people acting? They were still the directors. And who emerged? The directors. So it didn't, impact negatively in our administration. But I think that it shouldn't be an excuse, rather, I took my time to evaluate, and I came up with the best.
Well, thank you very much, Governor Dave Umahi, for joining us on the morning show. And we wish you all the best as the president continues with his second day visit to Ebonyi State. Thank you very much indeed.